we just had a huge boom in technology from a generative AI perspective. Some of you out there might be gamers. I know Josh is, and will know this reference. If you are familiar with the game Skyrim, here's an example of where generative AI is taking the world. And we're going to talk about how this makes for a really scary kind of future for us. There is a ChatGPT enabled Skyrim VR experience, and it brings all of your favorite NPCs truly to life. There's 3 different tools that were integrated in here. One is a tool that's going to convert your voice to text. It's going to feed that into ChatGPT, and then it's going to output that in the voice of each NPC. We're going to share that video link with you. Check it out. Even if you're not a gamer, the amazing part of this is think about, if you were watching a TV show, if you're playing a video game, however you're taking in your favorite media, you've got your favorite characters, everything is scripted. This goes off script. You're going to see in that video how the person is interacting with different NPCs in the world of Skyrim. Those NPCs are responding to questions that are not scripted. They fed a background into the generative AI platform, and that agent is able to feed out responses in the voice of those characters. Now, you're going to also see that the technology is a little bit slow to respond right now. But keep this in mind as we start to talk about where phishing attempts have evolved to so far and where it could go next. The next thing you know, you might be getting a phone call from your favorite actor or actress in their voice trying to convince you to do something. And it's going to sound very authentic. That's where the technology is going to enable threat actors to get to. So on that, we're going to start off our first conversation here talking about where has AI augmented phishing kind of evolved to already. It's not quite at the fully immersive, bring any character to life, fully interactive yet, but we've got some interesting new examples that really kind of, they've upped the ante here. So, Josh, I'm going to throw this one to you first. Tell us a little bit about some of the fresh examples of AI-generated phishing attacks that we're seeing now.
Yeah, the first and foremost of the ChatGPT, they do have safeguards in place, but they're pretty easily broken or gotten around with minimal effort. But the biggest thing is it's able to generate like phishing emails that don't have the typos, that don't have the misspellings or the grammar errors that we're used to seeing. But that was like one of the number one giveaways. Well, clearly this person doesn't speak English or it's their second language or it just doesn't make sense. So clearly it's fake. It's pretty easy just to go put that script into ChatGPT, cleans all that up, and now it looks like a way more authentic email.
So I'm not going to get free money from Nigerian princes anymore?
Not anymore. If you did before.
Did you before?
Yeah.
I kept trying, but for some reason the money never got to me. I don't know why. But
I'm sure it was very close.
It wasn't an email, but we had a scam fax, and there was a guy claiming to be from Africa, and not only was he selling the cure for COVID, but he also was selling Rolex watches and old Cisco gear. So. I would get a hold of that.
There's a Renaissance man, right? Gotta like that. Gotta like that. Who diversifies his business a little bit,
All right, AJ, what kind of fresh new examples are you seeing threat actors using in their phishing attempts?
I think Josh hit it right. We're certainly seeing an improvement in phishing right now. I don't think we've seen the full leap yet. It's early. I think threat actors are starting to figure these things out, but we're certainly seeing much more well-crafted pieces. I think we're seeing more well-crafted pieces. It's not just phishing. Obviously, that's the topic for today, but also I think romance scams, for instance. But we're going to see it in a lot of places. So we're starting to see that, and it does make it more difficult to identify. As Josh said, obviously from human component, some phishing emails are so poorly structured, it's easy to see. But also from the machine component, you can certainly set machines up to look for issues in communication that clearly show this is not non-native speaking. There's some other flaws that go with there, and this is eliminating some of that. So we're definitely seeing some improvements in the authorship of phishing emails so far.
All right, so we have our first question from the audience. Jose's got a question here. How nervous should my internal stakeholders be on QR phishing? QR phishing. It's always a fun one. I read it was possible, but it doesn't seem like a real risk to do an alert or training on. If I'm wrong, which it could be, how do I even block it on managed endpoints? So I'm going to take a first stab at the last part of your question, Jose, because I do know that there are, on the mobile device at least, there's a number of technologies that help with protecting against QR phishing attempts. Mobile threat defense, like you would find in a lot of MDM technologies like Ivanti, the mobile threat defense capabilities do have the ability to protect against QR phishing attempts as well. Guys, anything that you would give to somebody to try to frame up the, yes, QR phishing is a real thing, it is a concern, like what would you give for guidance on that?
My go-to is just training. I did encounter one of these in the wild. I was out on a trail run in a park, a remote area, and there was a big old paper on the side of a building that said free Wi-Fi with a QR code. I knew, it wasn't obviously, I know this is going to happen. I had to scan it anyway. The curiosity got the better of me. But I fully intending this could completely wreck my phone. I knew the consequences going into it, and it brought me to the Rickroll YouTube video. Delightful. I loved it.
Nice.
Totally like Warner Brothers with free, what is it? Free steak or ice cream or whatever. It's like a box and a stick, and you're going to get trapped.
Exactly.
I can't resist. It looks delicious.
It was either it was 50-50 Rickroll or my bank account's compromised.
I love the Rickroll. That's good.
That's a good turn on that. But
it's not always going to be that. So it comes down to the training and knowing that. I scanned it knowing the risks, and I chose to do that. I don't have any company data on my phone. It's all personal. I use the different passwords for everything. So the risk for me scanning that is pretty low. Worst case, I reset some passwords, it breaks my phone, I get a new phone. It could have sucked, but wouldn't have been the end of it. But just training.
So Josh, I know that some of us are old enough to know Looney Tunes references, which is what I'm going to throw out. But for you millennials and zennials that you may not know this reference, if not, go check out your Looney Tunes greatest hits. But I just envisioned Josh out there in the middle of the desert and this Wi-Fi sign sticking up there with the coyote standing behind it, like free Wi-Fi here.
Exactly. Exactly. It's totally a Wile E. Coyote
no
thing,
way,
100%.
No way there's free Wi-Fi out here in the desert. No,
totally. But the thing about it is, Josh makes a point. We've been doing this for things all along, right? Don't pick up thumb drives and shove them in your computer.
Right.
How long have we been telling people to do that, right? Just don't. It's kind of just that simple. Just don't. But it's okay. If I saw a hamburger on the ground, I'm not going to pick it up and eat it. That's probably a bad idea. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that alone, right? I didn't need the free Wi-Fi 30 seconds ago. Why do I need to get it now? Right. I don't need another thumb drive. I have thumb drives. Just don't. Just it's kind of simple, unfortunately.
All right, AJ. Then how about this? You go to your favorite bar, your favorite burger spot. On the table, there's a QR code that says "Scan for the menu."
Yep, that's why I have suckers I go to dinner with.
Why don't you scan the menu with your phone?
Yep.
That's right. That's why I go to dinner with salespeople. Right? I'm like, hey, why don't you go ahead and scan that and let me know what we're having for dinner.
So that's a great way to go through that too. All right,
that's a good point, though.
We are gonna come back to the training topic though, Josh, because I know that's right up your alley. So, all right. Let's talk about a couple of other. I like the authentic example there, but let's talk about a couple of other ones because I know AJ, you've encountered a couple of interesting kind of new takes on the. I know a lot of people have encountered found a jump drive in the parking lot, whatever. What are some of the other ones that are now being used?
Well, that's a good one. The jump drive one's been around forever, right? So there's always those, right? Whenever there's something that's too good to be true, something that somebody says they're giving away for free, you should just be skeptical, right? That's just not how the world works. People see things all the time on social media. Email is the same, right? Where somebody, you just click on this, it's an amazing new thing, or it's a news story that is going to blow the lid off of something, but you're the one that's getting it for some reason. You're not that special. I tell people that all the time. If 90% off PS5s and they just came out, it's probably not real. That's not happening. That's not how this works. And you're not special. My goodness, the breaking story against the politician that I just coincidentally don't like anyway, that's going to change the world. But it's not on any of the news networks from either side. Pick one. Doesn't matter. It's probably not real. We see a lot of those things coming down the pipe. Certainly anytime there's a new world event that draws interest, it automatically becomes a phishing campaign, like almost instantly. COVID-19 obviously was a huge one. Holidays every year coming around with that. The politics, have constantly led to those opportunities. I'm sure, although I haven't seen them yet personally, I'm sure there's Chat GPT phishing campaigns that are about Chat GPT, like that are using that topic, right? So very meta, but the truth of the matter is, whenever something shows up and it's too good to be true, either too good because it just aligns so perfectly with what you want to be true, frankly, or so earth shattering that you'd think it would be all over the news, but it's just you, or the price is just unbelievable. Yeah, it's not. It's not going to be real. You're going to be a sucker. And, some of us choose to be suckers anyway because you just can't resist. Or like Josh said, some of us, we go, hey, I know it could be dangerous, but I just want to know. That's cool. Have the curiosity. But, you have to assume that you're not that special. We're just not. Like, I'm not the first guy to get this amazing opportunity. So, I try to remind people of that. What do you got, Josh?
I was going to say the best one that I've ever come across that I personally would fall for. I couldn't resist it. And I believe this was part of a Know Before campaign. But the one where it sends an attachment with a photo and it says, hey, there's a dog in the parking lot. Is this anybody's? Like, I'm clicking on that picture. I'll go through the headers and hopefully the safe attachments is working. There's technical controls, but if none of those are in place and it came from like the office manager, for example, that one would more than likely get me. I'll be honest, right there.